Hello and welcome to this special telecast on Mandate 2017. I'm Sandeep Gurumurthy joining in from the news centre in Mumbai. Joining me in Delhi is my colleague Supriya Srinath. The big semi-final is over and the BJP has retained Gujarat and wrested Himachal Pradesh from the Congress. But the jury is still out on whether the numbers are good enough for a celebration, proving most exit polls wrong. Yet again, the Congress put up a better than expected show in Modi's home state, taking its tally beyond 80. On the other hand, the BJP clearly failed to impress, failing to even reach the crucial three-figure mark.
As per the current trends, the party is likely to win 98 seats, way behind its 2012 tally of 115. Forget about party President Amit Shah's projections of 150 seats in his home state. To the credit of the BJP, the Saffron Party has managed to win Gujarat for the 6th consecutive term, fighting anti-incumbency and the after effects of demonetization and the GST. Let's take this straight across to a stellar panel that joins us right here on ET Now. We are joined by Seshadri Chari, member and convener Foreign Affairs Cell BJP, Congress spokesperson Tom Vadakkan. We also have Yogendra Yadav, founder of Swaraj India political party, Swaminathan Iyer, consulting editor ET Now, and Sagarika Ghosh, consulting editor The Times of India. Thanks each one of you for being with us, and what an election this really has been. Almost a cliffhanger in the morning and then things changed. The BJP has won Gujarat for a 6th consecutive term, but the Congress has put up a decent show. Swami, who is celebrating today?
I think both. As I said, it has neither been a close call nor a sweep for the BJP, something in between. And so, you know, those who were writing Rahul Gandhi off, they clearly are the ones who have lost. Those who thought that Modi is going to have a three-quarters majority, they have also lost, and most people in between. So there is something for both of them to take away from the point of view of the BJP. You know, this, at the end of it all, they have a 6 percentage point lead in the popular vote in what is almost a direct contest. That is a very solid thing when you consider that in every single election, Modi gets more votes in the general election than in the state election. They will say to themselves, if you have a 6 percentage point in a state election, it should be at least 10, 11, 12% in the general election. So I think if this is the semi-final, going to the final in 2019, the BJP can say, well, we're in pretty good shape. Rahul Gandhi can say, well, we have done better, much better than we did last time. Whether it's good enough, that remains to be seen. They were badly beaten in Himachal Pradesh, which should not be forgotten. And they now rule only in two states, two major states, Punjab and Karnataka, one of which goes to the polls early next year, and I'm not sure they're going to be able to retain it. So right now, I'd still say BJP well ahead of the Congress in the coming final in 2019.
Okay, that's Swami with his first take, and we want to spend the next hour focusing purely on the political ramifications of this mandate and how to read this verdict from a national point of view. Yogendra Yadav, what's your takeaway? Swami says BJP firmly in the driver's seat. What is your big takeaway from the Gujarat verdict?
Broadly speaking, I would agree that it gives both parties a bit of a face saver, but doesn't give anyone room for comfort. BJP can take, if the face saver for BJP is that they have won at least, and 6 consecutive victories is not a small thing. 6 percentage point of vote share lead would be something they would, feel happy about. On the other hand, for Congress, they would say moral victory, they did much better, and the BJP sort of scraped through, so they forced BJP, but that's all for public consumption. Internally, and that's the important thing, what is the message both parties take internally? I think the internal message for the BJP is, well, this was scary, that rural unrest is a reality, that but for the Prime Minister's last surge, but for the kind of campaign he ran, and we know what kind of campaign he ran, this could have been a very close call. So the pressure on BJP to address this, because this situation is not confined only to Gujarat, this is something which would play out in other areas. So BJP would say, all right, we got away with the Gujarat, but can we get away with the same in Karnataka, in Madhya Pradesh, in Rajasthan? For Congress, the honest internal self-assessment would be, I mean, I don't know how honest and candid and straightforward they are, but if they are, the honest assessment would be, that's an opportunity missed. People were unhappy, there was potential anti-incumbency, and we failed to take advantage of that. The lessons for Congress are clearly, you cannot compress the work of 5 years in 3 months. If you do not play opposition for 4.5 years, you cannot simply take opposition on loan from agitators, from movement walas, Hardik Patel, Jignesh or Alpesh. And the message for Congress is that you cannot counter absolutely naked and brazen communalism that the BJP played out with surreptitious hidden casteism that Congress tried to play out. You have to have a different script. Also, I think the lesson for Congress is they need a new script for changing urban India. They have to have something to sell to urban India, which they don't seem to have.
I like the use of words, surreptitious casteism by the Congress and blatant communalism by the BJP. Sagarika, I'm going to come to you. The Prime Minister says, Vikas Jeeta, Gujarat Jeeta. He believes development has won in Gujarat. What do you say?
Well, Supriya, you know, I think tomorrow's headlines are going to be that the Modi-Shah juggernaut rolls on. The fact is that there's a sweep for the Saffron Party in Himachal Pradesh and in Gujarat. Now, up against anti-incumbency of 22 years, up against Hardik Patel, up against Patidar agitation, up against restive rural areas, up against unemployment, still the BJP holds firm in urban Gujarat, and in Surat, which we saw as the center of the diamond traders agitation, the center of the anti-GST agitation, the BJP has swept Surat. So, in fact, I think it says a lot for the formidable electoral machine that Amit Shah has made into the BJP, that it has managed to secure this kind of victory. It's a remarkable victory, the 6th consecutive victory. Only the left front has managed that, 7 consecutive victories in West Bengal. And this is the 6th consecutive victory in Gujarat for the BJP. So, it still remains a saffron citadel. It still remains that saffron fortress. But I would say there are very serious economic vulnerabilities. And had it not been for Prime Minister Modi coming to the rescue and hitting those sixes in the slog overs, I think the BJP probably would have not been able to win this election. It was really Mr. Modi's victory, Mr. Modi who came to the rescue of Mr. Rupani and Ms. Anandiben Patel, both of whom had disastrous tenures and made no name for themselves. Mr. Modi flew in, he personalized it, he emotionalized it, he asked the Gujarati voter, are you going to betray me? And in the end of the day, the Gujarati voter could not betray Narendra Modi, they could not betray the son of the soil, they could not betray Gujarati Asmita. Having said that, I think the Congress has a spring in its step. I've always maintained that if the BJP falls below 100, it's a moral defeat. If the Congress rises about 80, it is a moral win. So I believe in some senses the Congress has a spring in its step, but you know, we have to look at the fact of what has happened to the Congress local leadership. The face of the Congress local leadership in Gujarat, Mr. Morwadia and Mr. Shakti Singh Gohil, have both lost. And therein perhaps lies the contradictions of the Congress. Where is your credible face? Where is your local leadership? Where is the Gujarati Mamta Banerjee, who can take on the 3-decade-old fortress as she did in the left? But where is the Gujarati Mamta, equivalent of Mamta Banerjee in Gujarat, to take on the saffron citadel?
Sure. Okay. Sagarika, you've summed it appropriately. I mean, and in a sense, like Swami said, this verdict has something in it for both the BJP and the Congress. You know, 99 to the BJP right now and 80 to the Congress. So I think they both will settle for what they've got probably. But Seshadri Chari, let's get a word in from the BJP before we go to the Congress. And you know, you're one of the more pragmatic spokespersons across political parties. How are you reading this verdict? I mean, surely the combination of the Prime Minister and BJP President Amit Shah are not going to be elated with this verdict of, you know, the party struggling to cross the 100-figure mark. Is this in some sense a disappointing verdict? What's the signal that you're reading from this verdict, Seshadri Chari?
No, I won't say it's a disappointing verdict. Of course, all the points that have been made earlier all holds water, because against strong headwinds, it is like most of the economies of the European Union and the West going belly up, and India trying to remain afloat, Indian economy trying to remain afloat. It's something like that. Against very, very strong headwinds, the BJP has been able to manage its tally. It has been able to manage its vote percentage. Of course, the Congress vote percentage has gone up, but the BJP's vote percentage has also gone up compared to 2012. And the only dent that the Congress could make is through the Patidar Andolan and by polarizing on the caste lines. And it was not a surreptitious polarization as somebody has said. It's a blatant polarization. Patidar, BJP, Congress was piggy riding on Patidar Andolan boys, and all those people who went out and said Patidar Andolan and we will want reservation for Patel, you take out all their speeches, they did not speak a word about Patidar reservation per se. All that those people spoke about was ridiculing Narendra Modi and calling out names and also telling the voters that mushroom khane se ye hota hai and all these things. The level of campaign that they reduced it to has what paid off for the Congress. It's not the Congress percentage has gone up. These people, if they had contested on their own, probably Congress would not have crossed even 50 seats. Barely 50, and the others would have squared off, thereby giving BJP another 25 seats. So I suspect that the BJP could have got 125 plus had it not been the kind of polarization that the Congress and Patidar Andolan did. The only place where the BJP should have been more careful, and in future they should learn a lesson as far as this is concerned, is the farmers area, predominantly farmer area of Saurashtra, for example Kutch for example, where the BJP has been able to manage only barely 23 seats and the Congress has got 30. That is the one area where the combination of Patel and farmers has both affected the BJP to a very large extent. But for that, I think nowhere else the Congress has got anything that for them they should pat themselves on their back.
Okay. All right. Mr. Chari, I realize what you were saying. You're saying there's nothing for the Congress to pat them on the back as far as development and the discourse is concerned. I think the less is said about this election, the better. But Tom Badakan, as of this morning, before counting began, the Congress held fort in 6 Indian states. That tally is down to 5. I mean, the BJP has not just retained Gujarat, it has also wrested Himachal Pradesh. And I know while there is some consolation in the Congress that you've been able to put a decent number on the tally, about an 80-odd seats there in Gujarat, the fact of the matter is, can a loss be any consolation?
Well, loss is never a consolation, but the point here is there is a moral position we have gained. Whatever Mr. Yogendra Yadav has said, that Congress, I'm not going into the depth of his criticism, but the point I want to make is we have put up a good fight. Let's face it. We have put up a platform where other youth icons were present. The agrarian stress was identified, and we had issues which the people were discussing with us. It is not something agenda set from Delhi. It was the people's aspirations that we reflected. All 14 questions to date remains unanswered. Now, be what it may, the counterfoil was that we saw a bullet train coming into Gujarat, and the fact of the matter is, through an RTI letter it was established, even an MOU was not signed with the bullet train. The other reply they gave us was, it was not a reply, it was a challenge. The metro has not taken off 7 years, money has been given there, and nothing has happened. Then there was this plane landing. Oh my God, then Pakistan landing. What all they did, they talk about polarization. It's very strange. From Pakistan to whether you're a Hindu, you're a Christian, you're a Muslim, and these things went on and on. They were 22 years in power. They may have come back, but the point is, let's face it, what have they done there? Gujarat is not a state which was not underdeveloped. When we were there was quite a developing state, and it had its issues sorted out, and one of the places where places like Surat, where employment was not a problem.
Right.
People from different parts of the country would take up employment. 22 years of this government has created such a mess that people are asking us questions,
Sure, but
and we are reflecting it back. Now,
okay,
whether we
Tom,
won,
but
we won a moral victory, whatever, it's for the people to decide.
Okay, Tom, but you've made your point, and people argue that at the end of the day, all those questions, 22 years of incumbency, yet the people of the country people of the state have voted for the BJP. But Swami, comment on that. And do you believe, in some sense, the media is being a little unfair to the BJP? The fact that here is a government here is a party that's forming a government in the state for the 6th consecutive term. I mean, look at the amount of anti-incumbency that would have built in over a period of 6 terms. It obviously doesn't have a strong leadership in the state. Despite those factors, and there's the issue of farmer unrest that Yogendra Yadav pointed out, the GST stress in the trader community, despite all of that, they've actually managed to get to power. And yet, we're arguing about the fact that, they didn't get 115 seats, they've got 99 seats. The fact of the matter is that they've made it, they won the election for the 6th consecutive time.
Without doubt, to win 6 times in a row is a very impressive feat in a country where anti-incumbency has by and large been the norm. I mean, except for a brief period of very, very rapid economic growth. Anti-incumbency has been the general theme in India. So to win in those circumstances, to win after the double whammy of demonetization and the GST glitches on the small businesses, which historically have been with the BJP, to win in these circumstances with a somewhat increased vote share is a substantial achievement with which the BJP can be happy. There's no question about it. They had the last time there was a good monsoon which helped Modi. This time there was drought in several pockets. So that would have added to the distress. While there was drought in several pockets, on the other hand, there were other areas which had a relatively good cotton crop. And there was a slump in cotton prices, which once again went against Modi. So I said there were a number of adverse circumstances. There was the diamond people, there was the agitation of traders in Surat, there was the plight of diamond cutters all over the state. Despite all this, they won. And, it may not have been a sweeping victory, but I'd say it's a comfortable victory. It wasn't just a narrow victory. 6 percentage points is a large, significant thing. I mean, if you go back to the old days of the left front beating Congress in West Bengal 7 times, that used to be the margin. I mean, the left front used to get about 50%, Congress used to get about 44. So, I mean, there's as much of that kind of gap that we are seeing. So, yes, at the end of it all, what the BJP has achieved is significant. And as I said, if you go by the pattern that Modi does better in a national election than a state election, then he can say, well, I am once again going to do well in the general election in 2019. Will he sweep all 26 seats like he did last time? Well, I think Rahul Gandhi can turn around and say, no, we have had a bounce back. We are going to take back some of those 26 seats. And yet it does seem to me that Modi is going to be on a strong wicket in 2019. Unless something very seriously goes wrong with the economy, unless you get, shall we say, a global asset bubble bursting and there's a global recession that hits India. On the other hand, what you might well see is a global boom, which actually helps Modi in 2018 before the next election.
Matters at all in elections. I mean, look at how GST dominated constituencies have voted. But I'll come back to that in just a bit. And Yogendra Yadav, my question to you really is, Rahul Gandhi kind of gave it all as far as Gujarat was concerned, whether it was stitching together this caste coalition with Jignesh, Alpesh and Hardik, whether it was doing the temple run, quote unquote, like the BJP wants to put it. He pretty much espoused a soft Hindutva like the Congress hadn't seen under Sonia Gandhi. And yet the tally on the table is 80. Is this the best that's expected of him?
If you take a short-term view, if you look at this election in terms of whatever happened in the last 2 or 3 months, you could say, well, Congress couldn't have done more than that. But why take a short-term view? We need to take a somewhat long-term view, and we need to look at the Congress party for the last 5 years, which hasn't played any serious oppositional roles. They were very serious. There's a very serious agrarian crisis, distress. The question is, what has the Congress done about it? It took the form of a partidar agitation, which in essence, frankly, is a distortion. It's a deviation of a farmers' protest of agrarian crisis. So I don't take that view where whoever's lost has got everything wrong and whoever's won has got everything right. Congress did get many things right in the last 2 or 3 months. Their campaign looked like somewhat tighter campaign than the Congress has usually run. Their focus was on the right questions, namely the economy. They didn't get into too many distractions. And since they did not have energy of their own, they borrowed, they took on loan energy from other agitations that they could. In the short run, that's what you would do. But the question is, was that the best Congress could have done? For a party that did not play oppositional role for 4.5 years, they had to draw upon other energies. For a party that has not taken a clear secular stand for the last 14.5 years, not just last 4.5 years. Of course, they had to do the kind of drama of temple visits, which in a sense dilutes what the Congress would wish to do in the rest of the country. So I think we need to take a larger view and not confine only to the 2 months of election or the 14 days of campaign. Elections are not won or lost in the 14 days of campaign. Much of that takes place prior to that. We need to remember that BJP of today, and that's a point Sagarika had also made, BJP today is the most effective, powerful election machine that India has ever seen. Not right now. I can't think of any party in the last 70 years of Indian electoral experience which was as organized and well-oiled election machine as Mr. Amit Shah's party is right now. So to take on that kind of a party, the kind of things Congress needed to have done, the kind of preparation, the time period that it should have taken, Congress was unable to do that. So despite lots of things being there, which has been enumerated by all the other panelists, this was an opportunity missed not in the last 3 months, not in the last 14 days, but missed over the last 5 years. And you can't make up for that loss in just by some gimmicks towards the end.
Sure, fair enough. You're saying it's an opportunity missed. Sagarika, comment on that. Or do you believe that in some sense Rahul Gandhi's stock will probably only go up from here? Because look at what has happened in the election. Even the 80-odd seats that they won is largely on the back of his own campaign. And like Yogendra Yadav said, that the Congress failed as an opposition party in the state of Gujarat. Look at how senior Congress leaders have performed. Shakti Singh Goyal and Modwade have both failed to win their seats. So despite not having strong local leadership, despite not having sort of a grassroots level the mechanism like the way the BJP has, so they've still managed to do reasonably well. So does that in a sense indicate that his stock could only go up from here? Is that a fair interpretation?
Well, I think Rahul Gandhi ran a good campaign, Sandeep. I was there in the beginning to watch the campaign, and we saw a different kind of Rahul Gandhi on the campaign trail. We didn't see the, choppering in and choppering out kind of Rahul Gandhi that we saw earlier. We saw Rahul Gandhi traveling by foot. We saw him on Belgari. We saw him walking with the people. We saw him go to the temples, which of course his grandmother, Mrs. Gandhi, had done with very mixed political results. Even his father has played the soft Hindu card, again with very mixed political results. So the soft Hindu card doesn't necessarily win you votes. In fact, it probably even just strengthens the hard Hindutva forces. But that's another debate. But Mr. Gandhi fought a good campaign. It was a solid campaign. He raised issues, but his ultimate test, Sandeep, as we've discussed before, is going to be winnability. Can Rahul deliver victories for the Congress? And that is the only way he will win the respect of his party. Sonia Gandhi, all said and done, in 2004 and 2009, arrested the rise of the BJP. She defeated Vajpayee. So can Rahul Gandhi be a vote catcher, an election winner? If he again slumps in 2019, if in 2019 the Congress again goes to 44 seats, then, it's going to be very difficult to see whether Rahul Gandhi's stock is rising. But, this was a good campaign. As I said, when the Prime Minister landed on the 27th of November, everything changed. He personalized it. He emotionalized it. He asked the Gujarati to vote for him. And the debate, the narrative that the Congress had set up completely changed. And the Gujarati flocked to Mr. Narendra Modi. This was Mr. Narendra Modi's victory. But in some senses, there are qualifications one must build into the BJP juggernaut. The fact is, there is a mirror cracked in Gujarat. The urban Gujarat is dominated by the BJP, but rural Gujarat, we're seeing a very, very strong swing towards the Congress. In fact, I just want to read out some figures that I have here of the rural-urban divide, which I think is important because I think the rural-urban divide is actually key in this election. 55 seats of urban Gujarat, BJP gets 43, Congress 12. BJP dominating urban Gujarat, perhaps even dominating urban India. BJP is the party of urban India. 127 rural seats, BJP 56, Congress 71. So, you know, the rural distress, the farmers' distress, and I saw this again firsthand, minimum support price, drought, farmer suicides, lack of facilities, demonetization, lack of cash. There is a build-up of farmers' agitation across India. On top of that, unemployment, lack of opportunities. You know, another channel had a very interesting opinion poll where it showed the 18 to 23 age group. In the 18 to 23 age group, actually, it's the Congress which is dominant and not the BJP. So now, going into the cowbelt elections in 2018 in Rajasthan, Chhattisgarh and in Madhya Pradesh, there the BJP is going to be up against these very strong economic vulnerabilities. And remember, in Rajasthan and Madhya Pradesh, in Gujarat, the Congress may not have local leaders, but in Rajasthan and Madhya Pradesh, the Congress has strong local leaders.
But that's exactly what we'll discuss in just a bit, Sagarika. I do want to take this across to Mr. Chari and talk to you about players of this election. And one such player is Hardik Patel. Will you concede that at one level the BJP was in denial about Hardik Patel? Yes, the BJP gave over 50 odd seats to Patidars all over Gujarat, but the fact is that Hardik Patel factor has worked. I mean, you know, the Congress has dominated, Patidar dominated seats. So in some sense, the BJP was in denial about Hardik Patel, even though that factor seems to have won. You yourself said if it wasn't for Alpesh, Jignesh and Hardik, the Congress would have been 25 seats short.
See, the Congress ran a very parochial, absolutely parochial campaign. They piggy-rided on Patidar, and Patidars where Patidar Andolan was built up, and I suspect the Patidar Andolan probably was funded also by the Congress to some extent, and there is no reason why we should be saying that the Congress ran a good campaign. Actually, the way the Congress ran the campaign, depending solely on Patidar and then reservation issue and all these parochial issues which they took up, this is not borrowing on energy. This is not taking an energy shot. It is actually surrendering to these kinds of low level of politicking. But the BJP stood firm on ground that we have done Vikas and we have done economic progress. And yes, as far as GST and demonetization is concerned, Narendra Modi himself said that even at the cost of political setback, I will go ahead and do all the economic reform process that I have to initiate. So I think he stood firm on the ground that we did economic reform for the sake of the country, for the sake of the economy, and we will stand by it. And I think that stand ultimately resonated well to a very large extent. And the only setback that the BJP has got is in
rural Gujarat,
Kutch,
in Saurashtra,
and to some extent, of course, the central Gujarat.
Okay.
To Saurashtra to a very large extent, okay. Yes. So I don't think, of course, the BJP could have done a little more better to insulate itself from the Patidar Andolan. But except for that Patidar Andolan, I don't see any great remarkable strategy that the Congress has worked out.
Fair enough.
And if this is going to be the Congress's strategy, I am sure it's going to fall flat in the next election.
Okay, Seshadri Chari, you made two very important points. One, you're conceding that the BJP could have done more to insulate itself from the Patidar agitation. Tom Vadakan, I'll let you counter the comments made by Seshadri Chari. He's clearly saying that but for the Jignesh, Alpesh, Hardik factor, the Congress would have probably been 25 seats short. And I want to add one question to that in a sense, does this verdict expose the lack of local leadership in the Congress party in the state of Gujarat, because your own senior most leaders haven't managed to win their seats? Tom Vadakan.
My friend Seshadri Chari has talked about the energy we have borrowed. Now, point is, energy in any way cannot be borrowed. Now, these are agitations, ongoing agitation. I wish him all luck and his party to control the agitations, which is a continuing process, because this is not just about reservation, my friend. This is about jobs, and you have made huge promises of jobs, and industry is closing down. You talked about demonetization being under control, but the reality is GST and demonetization has done the damage. Now, I heard somebody from the Chamber of Commerce on another channel saying, my only request is to the present government to look into all this because we have voted for you again in the hope that you are in the center, you will be able to make course correction, especially with the GST and demonetization. Companies have closed down in Surat and variety of other places. The agrarian stress has not walked out, it's not wished away, they're still there, they have to be addressed. So wish you all the best. I mean, you have got power, but that does not mean that problems have gone. So you have to face the same music, maybe on a higher decibel. Point is, well taken that we did have a unity with the young leadership. They were icons as youth, and one of the gentlemen is not even age enough for fighting in elections. We took them, put them on the platform, and they spoke, and they are continuing in Gujarat. I wish you all the luck in dealing with them, and I wish you all the luck in solving problems. Our problem is that we have pointed out 14 questions to you on developmental issues. Employment is one of them, health issue is one of them, education is one of them. Education has all been privatized. We are not against privatization, but the kind of fees people have to pay to get admissions into them. Employment has become a contractual issue. Educational sector, if you start having contractual labor, I'm sorry, there was this PhD teacher who was on contractual basis facing retirement. These are issues that you need to address. Winning an election is only one part of the story. The music is still on a higher decibel, and I think you need to control these things, and you have problems on hand, and I wish you all the best. People's mandate is respected by the Congress Party. We will continue raising our voice on issues. This is just a promo of 2019. This is just the beginning, and we believe that you will be able to do better. But we wish you, and let the winner come out in 2019.
Okay. Tom Vadakkar, I'm sorry, but I think on that note, I have to take a really quick breather. I'm back in a moment, and we will put the spotlight on constituencies that were impacted by the GST. Has soft Hindutva worked for the Congress Party, and what about in the run-up to 2019? What happens next? Back in a moment. Stay right here with us on this very, very special telecast. Back with you right here on Mandate 2017 on ET Now, and let's put the spotlight on the economy. Let's talk about issues that were related to this election but don't see him played out. Swami, what explains the fact that the BJP has done very, very well in urban Gujarat? Look at the GST impacted constituencies of Vadodara, of Surat, the Rajkot district. The margin of victory is also huge. What explains the fact that BJP, which is so trader dominated, where the anguish and the pain was so high, we heard about factories shutting down, we heard about this agitation, 22-day long agitation, and the voters still solidly backs Modi?
Okay, two things. If you go back a little to the local elections, you will find that the Congress Party swept the Panchayat elections in Gujarat, and then the BJP swept the municipal elections. So the fact that there is this rural-urban divide is not something new of this campaign. It is a deeper, larger phenomenon, and we have seen actually no change from that particular situation. Secondly, as they sometimes say, an empty vessel makes a lot of noise. I mean, there's been a lot of noise created by some sections who have been hard hit. Are they the majority? At the end of it all, what our party does, they are 14% of the population, they are not the whole. And within that community, I have met a large number of silent partidars, some of whom were in fact in Hardik Patel's camp, who said, we have a serious problem, but the problem is not Modi, because there is nothing Rahul has to offer which will be better than what Modi is offering. At the end of it all, Modi did not offer, the Congress did try to offer something else in the form of some kind of reservation guaranteed by the change in the constitution. To my mind, this was highly retrograde. The patidars without doubt are a rich, dominant caste. To treat them on par with all kinds of backward people and say these are deserving guys for all kinds of government promotional schemes, it is outrageous. It simply shouldn't have happened. Anyway, all I can say is I am glad to say that that kind of casteism failed. On the other hand, I'm equally sad to see that some of the communalism, some of this ultra-nationalism, trying to portray the Congress party as some kind of tool of Pakistan, that is equally disgraceful.
Trump the GST anguish?
I would say these things did not matter that much. I think ultimately performance mattered, and the Gujarat model by and large has delivered. I would say that is the big picture. It's a silent picture because the people who are by and large okay with that aren't screaming and they are not making the headlines. And the guys who are screaming are all minority groups, and they have their place in a democracy, but they do not add up to a majority. I would say on balance, on performance, the BJP has won. Therefore, neither that casteism, nor communalism, nor ultra-nationalism was necessary.
It's actually, in a sense, a vote for the Gujarat model of development. But Chagrika, comment on that. Since you traveled across Gujarat and some of these trader-affected areas as well, what explains this? Is it because I think the media has fundamentally exaggerated the impact of these disruptive reforms on the common man, or is it because even if there was some anger, it didn't sort of translate into a vote against Modi? The Gujarati pride, did that come into play? What explains the fact that GST, demonetization, even the job crisis, the fact that job creation has slowed down considerably over the last couple of years, has had no bearing on the vote that we've seen in urban Gujarat?
It's an interesting point, Sandeep, because, there were loads of angry people out there who I met. But as Swami says, maybe they were the ones who were just speaking out. But there were, sizable sections of very, very angry people in Surat, in Valsad, in Rajkot, in rural Saurashtra, of course. Now, what happened in Surat? Did the angry people just stay at home and not come out to vote? Because remember, there has been that 4% drop in turnout. Did only the happy people come out, or did only the BJP voters come out? Did the BJP finally was it able to muster its voters to the polling booth? Because, as Yogendra pointed out, the organization on the ground of the BJP is so formidable. They literally are able to take busloads of their voters to the polling booth. They have the Panna Pramukhs. They have the people in charge of the voting process. So they are a very, very well-oiled machine. The other thing that we have to bear in mind, Sandeep, is I think the emotional pitch that the Prime Minister made worked. Also, the fact that, I'm seeing here, since 1995, there are 58 seats that the BJP has never lost in Gujarat. It hasn't lost these seats for over 2 decades. So the dominance of the BJP in urban Gujarat is very, very strong. You also have the fact that, in Ahmedabad and in Surat and in Rajkot and in parts of some of the other cities, you do see visible signs of vikas. You see the flyovers, you see the availability of water, you see the availability of electricity, there are the street lights, there are the toilets. So when you go to the cities or the urban centers and say, there has been no vikas, the urban dweller doesn't believe you, because he actually sees that the cities are pretty well off, are doing pretty well. It's really in the rural areas where vikas becomes meaningless because the amenities are not there. But in the urban areas, there is vikas, there are amenities, there are civic facilities, and the Modi government over these years, the BJP government over these years has delivered for the urban BJP voter. So the urban BJP voter remains loyal to Mr. Modi. And the other thing that, I did come across is however unpopular the state government is, and there's no doubt that the government of Mr. Rupani and the government of Ms. Anandiben Patel before him have been disasters. People have very little good things to say about them. The local MLAs are very unpopular. But Mr. Modi is wildly popular. He's really popular, and his personality is what swung this election, because he remains a very popular figure in Gujarat.
I hit the nail on its head when you say that the urban voter doesn't see lack of development. The urban voter is seeing enough and more amenities and development, and perhaps it's the lack in the rural areas which is perhaps telling on elections. But Tom Vadakkan, what is it that the Congress can do to appease the urban voter in Gujarat? You don't seem to be breaking into that citadel that stays with the BJP, that hasn't been swayed despite the pains that one thought will dent their vote share, whether it was GST or demonetization. What can the Congress do to appease that urban voter?
I need to do an intervention on this whole narrative. Let's understand this. The Gujarati mind has a sharp focus, and that is what they focus, what they call dhanda. Now, when they talk about dhanda, that's business, they're very cool about and very chilled about the whole activity of business. Now, let me tell you something. GST, there was an initial rollback. Not that demonetization, there can be a rollback. It's happened. Now, a typical Gujarati has a mindset. He thinks that yes, this government has a lifeline till 2019. If we give them a vote by promises that they make and an opportunity to roll back, that this government can do. A new government comes in, that is the Congress party, they will not be able to address issues at the center. They may not have the same passage to center as to Gujarat BJP government. They are cool-blooded. They think that yes, if we vote for them, it's good for our business. And it is my logic. And they could have thought that look, GST has given us a big hit. Like I heard the Chamber of Commerce man addressing the new government and saying, for God's sake, get us out of all this. And I'm sure you will be doing it, and you have to address economic issues directly. Now, if this is the kind of message that is coming from the president of the Chamber of Commerce, this is not probably his thinking. This is the mindset of a typical Gujarati businessman who says, let's get the economics correct. And that BJP can deliver in the center.
Tom Vadakan, I wish we had the time to debate the point that you've made. I'm not sure if my panel is going to agree with this theory that you've put on the table here, but I have quick closing comments to get from the panel. Only 5 minutes left on the show. Seshadri, coming to you first. Before, I know everyone's going to obsess about 2019, but before 2019, we've got important elections in 2018, and these are states where the Congress has a very strong local leadership, something that it didn't have in the state of Gujarat, whether it's Madhya Pradesh, whether it's Rajasthan, of course Karnataka as well. So these are states where the Congress has strong leadership. Would you concede that there is going to be a heated contest in 2018 in all these states, and setting up to 2019 again, where there is going to be a formidable challenge being thrown by the anti-Modi bloc?
See, the BJP is a very strong cadre-based party, and BJP has got strong leadership at the center and the state levels also. And BJP is a party which learns a lesson from all elections, whether they win or lose. We took lessons from Bihar also, where we lost, and we took lessons from UP also, where we won. So BJP, for the BJP, the learning process is an ongoing process. Another thing is, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh and Karnataka are very different states. Each state has its own characteristics. Each constituency is different from one another. Even in Gujarat, every constituency is different. The strategy for every constituency has to be different. Similarly, in Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan and Karnataka, the strategy has to be absolutely different. And in this case, Karnataka is the only southern state which had a BJP government earlier. So Karnataka is not new as far as BJP is concerned. So all the hard work that we have put in Gujarat is much more tough work will be put in Rajasthan, in Madhya Pradesh and also in Karnataka. And to believe that the Congress has got strong local leaders in these places is absolute fallacy. I don't see any leadership for the Congress as far as Madhya Pradesh is concerned, unless of course they decide to pull out someone new. It's a different issue. The Congress has not created any local leaders for the last 15, 20 years. The last time that the Congress had strong leadership was during the time of Mrs. Indira Gandhi. After that, nothing has happened. So we are not bothered. But that is Congress's own problem. Our problem is to win back these two states and win Karnataka back from the Congress. That BJP will do.
Okay. All right, Mr. Chari, hold your thoughts there. I'm going to go across to Sagarika, and Sagarika, from here to 2019, is it fair to assume that everything will depend, and everything will depend on the alliances that are made, whether it's the Congress making alliances or the BJP stitching together alliances in different states? Is it fair to assume this is how the equations will pan out? I'm running out of time. I'll ask you to be brief.
Well, Well, I think we're looking at a very hectic political schedule from now till 2019. You know, we are even hearing that the polls could be advanced to the end of 2018. So I think it's fair to say that 2018 and early 2019 is going to be just politics, politics and more politics. I think what this Gujarat verdict has done is that it has made Rahul Gandhi the primary challenger of Narendra Modi. You know, earlier that post was being vied for by Mr. Nitish Kumar or Mr. Arvind Kejriwal, but now it is Mr. Rahul Gandhi who seems to be the main challenger of Mr. Narendra Modi, having taken his seat tally up in Gujarat and having led that campaign in Gujarat. So Mr. Rahul Gandhi is now the primary challenger to Mr. Narendra Modi after this Gujarat election. It's not Arvind Kejriwal, it's not Nitish Kumar. And yes, you're right, it's going to be about alliances, it's going to be about stitching up the greatest possible numbers, because even in Gujarat, what the Congress tried to do was in fact replicate the Mahagathbandhan of Bihar, which is stitching together this caste coalition. Sonia Gandhi, Rahul Gandhi's predecessor as Congress president, and his mother was known for the alliance Raj. She was known for stitching up the secular alliance, for stitching up those alliances that brought down the Vajpayee government and brought down the BJP. So yes, I believe alliances are going to be crucial, but more than that, I believe the Congress will have to engage in a Herculean task. You know, Rahul Gandhi really has his task cut out for him. He has to energize the Congress. What is the Rahul model of politics? What is the Rahul model of economics? You know, we were speaking earlier, his economic promises sound muddled, populist, leftist. He sounds like he's running an NGO. He's gone to Niyamgiri Hills to talk about tribals. He's done Bhatta Parsol and land acquisition. He hasn't really come up with a constructive narrative of a economic policy. We don't know that. We don't know what he stands for economically. We don't know what he stands for politically. Is he going to empower the state leaders? Is he going to empower Generation Next? Is he going to go with the old guard? What is going to be the Rahul model of Congress management? So Rahul faces a Herculean task. He has to be winnable, he has to make the Congress winnable, and he has to craft alliances, and he has to build that party machine. The BJP, on the other hand, has to deal with the very serious economic challenges that India is facing, and that is bound to have a political impact on the elections going forward.
Okay, Swami, I'm going to let you have the last word. A very quick, word from there. Do you agree with Sagarika? Has this verdict, in a sense, sealed Rahul's position as the primary challenger to Narendra Modi? Because, till a few weeks back, we were debating Modi versus who. Has that debate been settled once and for all? And do you see the others gravitate towards him? We've seen comments from Akhilesh Yadav saying that the Congress must take allies along. Mamata Banerjee is now tweeted as well, saying that this verdict is bell the cat. Do you see them rallying around Rahul? And also, in a Modi versus Rahul showdown, is that the best way for the Congress to play this election in terms of the fact that they're, positioning Rahul against Narendra Modi?
Well, I just wrote a column that appeared yesterday, which even before the election, which said Rahul is the obvious guy to oppose. There may be different voices in a coalition. I mean, suppose, for instance, Narendra Modi last time loses as many as 100 seats. Let's say all the other guys put together have got 310, of which Congress has got 100. Now, 100 seats is nowhere near as much as the Congress used to get in the old days. And yet, who else would be anywhere near that 100 to handle that particular coalition of 300 people? So I would say the fact that all the other parties basically are regional parties. They have a stake in one state here, one state here, one state here. Rahul Gandhi has scattered support all over the place. So while he is in a much weaker position than any other Congress leader perhaps, yet if the opposition is to come to power, I think it would have to say it has a better chance of sticking together with Rahul than with anybody else. I would have to add that in those circumstances, many regional parties might also say, to heck with it, let me join the NDA.
All right.
All right. All right.
Right, go ahead, Supriya.
All right. On that note, I think I can't thank my panel enough. It's been a spirited discussion and we've really kept it going. Covered a lot of ground there, but Gujarat 2017 has perhaps set the stage for 2019 India, and how will things flow from here is really the big question. Lessons for two gentlemen, Mr. Modi and Mr. Rahul Gandhi. What lessons will they draw is also something that will determine the nature of politics in this country. Thank you very much, Swaminathan Iyer, Sagarika Ghosh, Tom Varakal and Sashabdi Chari for being with us. Thanks viewers for tuning in.
Of course, at 9 p.m. on the India development debate tonight, we're going to put the spotlight on how better to read this verdict from the point of view of business, markets, how will this change economic policy, if at all, and that's what we're going to put the spotlight on the India development debate at 9 p.m. tonight on ET Now. Keep it with India's #1 business news channel. Thanks for watching.